What's up YouTube, this is Tien, bringing you a new Atlas strategy video for 3.16 Scourge League. If you guys are interested in how to leapfrog your Atlas and get all your watchstones, I just finished recording a video on that, so feel free to find that. I'll link it in the description below. But this video, we are going to be covering some different content. I'm going to go into each region, the Atlas passives that I think are strong for each region. We're going to talk about how you want to use your watchstones, how you want to set up your Uncharted Realms, and also go into how I want to use my map device, maybe if I want to use scarabs, horizon orbs, things like that. So we'll just go ahead and get right into it. A lot of content to cover. If you guys are new to my content, I usually put out this is my strategy going into the league, and then I'll post an update maybe 1 or 2 weeks later where, here's what we discovered. Maybe based on Scourge League, we really wanted to change up our region or change up our Atlas passives and, kind of how that happened. I actually did not post an update last league in Expedition League. I didn't care too much for Expedition, so we didn't play much in Expedition. But let's not start on a sour note. Let's go ahead and hop right into the content. We're going to hop into each region, and I'll talk about each of the nodes and which ones that I think are good. So Valdo's Rest. I want to cover this kind of concept called value front loading. And basically what that means is some of these Atlas passives take hundreds of maps for you to realize the value of. So like Abysses, for example, are an example of one that you'll see the value of once you've done a whole ton of maps. So not only do the Abysses have to spawn, but they have to spawn the abyssal depths, and then within those depths, okay, it has to be a lich. And so you'll get value from it, but it might take you lots and lots of maps. But some mechanics are better than others, and Valdo's Rest actually has two of the best front-loaded value mechanics, which are Harbinger and Strongboxes. So these maps, and I know my camera's kind of covering it here, but these nodes give you Harbingers, give you Strongboxes that are always corrupted and rare, and they are present on every single map. So the value that you get from those nodes are immediate and are very valuable early in the game. Strong boxes are great because you can get a lot of 6 sockets and 6 links, especially when the boxes are corrupted. The Harbies are great, especially when trying to complete your Atlas early, because you can get Horizon Orbs, which will help you out, or maybe even Harbinger Orbs, which will help you upgrade the map tiers. So really good value from those. Those are really good early. Late game, Harbinger's still good. I think it's going to be a league where Ancient Orbs might be more popular if uniques are really good. They've added some really powerful base game uniques, which you will be able to Ancient Orb into. I'm sure they're going to be very rare, so hard to do. But I do want to talk kind of about the other nodes. Basically, if you like the mechanic, pick it. Some of them are stronger than others. Unfortunately, they didn't include Compulsive Hoarder, which is probably the best Delirium node. That's the one that would give you extra rewards if a layer of Delirium appeared. So, for that reason, I'm probably not going to pick Delirium as much. But there is some element to, if everybody is choosing one thing, if you're doing kind of the unpopular thing, then, if you're the only person doing Delirium, then you can really set the price on those cluster jewels or what have you. I'm a little bit interested in the Delve nodes this league. They've reworked Delve. They've reworked a few of the fossils. I plan on playing like an int stacker as my second character, so maybe I want to farm the fossils there. These are some of the stronger Delve nodes in terms of the ones that they've condensed. And then I don't particularly care for the Blight content, and I'm going to trade kind of other players for their Blighted maps. The aspirational content that they're adding, which are like the super Blight maps or whatever, maybe I'll buy a couple from other players. Don't really care for doing Blights in maps. I feel like it kind of slows down my gameplay. So that's what I'm going to be doing, but again, don't let my opinions kind of sway you there. If you really like a certain mechanic, go hard on it. I would say, it would be a mistake to only do one of the nodes. If you like the mechanic, make sure you just kind of grab everything that's related to it. I kind of mentioned it in my last Atlas strategy video, but the worst thing you could do is half-ass all the mechanics. You should definitely just, instead of half-assing 5 things, you should just whole-ass 1 or 2 things. So that's kind of my advice there. Moving on to Lyra Arthane. I think the elephant in the room here is Breach is just really good, and there's new aspirational content. It's going to be very popular. The best nodes are here. Flash Breach is here. Exotic Goods is always popular early. Again, this is a good front-loaded value one. but I think Breach will be really popular. That will be my plan, at least in the beginning. I'm probably going to actually skip Breach just because I want to kind of zig when everybody else is zagging. So I'll probably just pick exotic goods early, go the invasion boss stuff, and then pick the heist stuff. And without my intent of running heist, I'll probably just end up selling my contracts and blueprints. I kind of like doing that. And then late in the league, what I'll do is I'll end up, after I've built up those red Einhar missions, then I'll kind of use those unmaking orbs and then do a whole bunch of bestiary, with the Einhar stuff there. I didn't care for Expedition at all. It remains to be seen how powerful some of these Expedition nodes are. I did read them. I do think the increased number of explosives can be good. One thing we don't know at the time of me recording this is how Watchstones will kind of play into Expedition. So previously, Perandus had all of these Watchstones that were related to Prandus, preferring the catalog Perandus hordes or whatever. So there will be Watchstones that are related to Expedition. So maybe it's 10% increased number of explosives in the area combined with Distinguished Demolitionist. Maybe, instead of getting 5 explosives, you're getting 8 explosives with huger radius or whatever. Could be really, really good. It remains to be seen on that. I'm going to let other people kind of figure that out. I wasn't a big fan of Expedition. I did like the logbooks, but Expeditions and maps just kind of felt clunky. They did rework the way that the currency works with the auto pickup. So if you want to go hard in Expedition, by all means, do it. Definitely take all 3 of the nodes because all 3 of the nodes are really good. The +2 Remnants is really good. Buried Knowledge is really good. So if you do go in Expedition, make sure you go hard into Expedition there. But I think the most popular one will definitely be Breach. Lyra, I think, in general, will be a popular area. There's a lot of maps here that you can Horizon Orb into in the Tier 15 area. I believe Arachnid Nest is in there. And then Breach is present on the map device, so you can force Breach onto maps very cheaply for only 2C and get tons of Breach stuff. People will be wanting to do a lot of Breach, I think, because of the aspirational content and the new unique that drops from the flawless Breachstone Breach Lords there at the end. Okay, moving on to Glencairns. This is a pretty powerful zone, I would say. The one that I think is the best are the Legion nodes here. Again, there's more aspirational content tied to Legion. They're doing, the even better timeless emblems there at the end. Unfortunately, they removed one of the stronger nodes, which was the one to get the, completed emblem. But these nodes are still very strong. The sergeants, the generals. It's a good source of not just splinters in general for the emblems, but also, you can get items from other mechanics as well with the incubators and stuff from Legion. So really powerful mechanic. Legion is present on the map device. Definitely recommend kind of going into these Legion nodes. My plan will be doing Legion in conjunction with Rogue Exiles. I know my cam is blocking it here, but I've been a fan of the Rogue Exiles in the past. I think you can't go wrong with that. And then the Beyond ones, if you pick all 6 of these, basically it takes 6 points for you to get to Legion. You can only choose one of the Beyond ones. I like the one that gives you an additional basic currency item, at least in the beginning. Maybe towards the late game I'll spec out of that and then just go hard on Legion and Alva because I really like running temples. I think you can't go wrong with any of the nodes here except for Abyss, and I mentioned it earlier in terms of value front loading. These nodes are just some of the weaker ones. I actually thought the more powerful Abyss nodes were the ones that would affect abysses in your map that didn't require an Abyssal Depth. The ones that they added, make Abyssal Depths better, but if you take those nodes, it's a lot of points to take. It's six points to take all of these Abyssal Depths related nodes, and it's something that you won't see unless you run a ton of maps in Glencairns. So my recommendation would be to avoid Abyss, but again, there's that element of zigging when everybody else is zagging kind of thing. If you're the only one that's getting those Stygian Vises or those Shroud of the Lightlesses or whatever, maybe they'll be really expensive. Moving on to Hayward Hamlet, save the best for last here. I think this is the best region, and you really can't go wrong with any of the nodes here. I think early going for the Essences is kind of a no-brainer. Essence is only 3 Chaos in the upcoming league. And I believe it's adding 3 essence nodes on there. And if all of them have an extra essence, it's really good. Metamorph, they picked some of the stronger nodes. They actually combined 2 of the nodes into high yield. So Metamorph is quite strong. Those catalysts, my recommendation for catalysts would be sell them in bulk. Players don't want to trade 20 players for one catalyst each. They want to trade one person who has 20 catalysts. So build up your catalysts, sell them in bulk. You can charge more for it because I don't know why it works that way, but basically players are lazy and they don't want to trade a whole bunch of people. Late game, I think Ritual and Harvest will be good. I think Harvest is good even early game. And then Betrayal is also really excellent here. Instead of having to go to Valdo's Rest to level up your guys and then filling out the Syndicate Safe House Intelligence and Hayward, they basically put the two best nodes, Test of Loyalty and Intelligence Gathering, together. And this is just extremely, extremely strong. Doing Katarina not only gives you the Katarina uniques, but it also gives you the chance to upgrade Breach Stones. You can make sure you get It That Fled to rank 3, and then you'll be able to get those Flawless Breach Stones even faster, by using the blessings on the Breach Stones after you've turned them into pure Breach Stones or what have you. So yeah, the Betrayal node's really strong. Harvest, what am I personally doing? I'll personally, in the beginning, probably just focus on the Harvest stuff. I really like doing Harvest as a way to kind of evening out your map sustain. I do want to say that it isn't value front loaded, which means it takes hundreds of maps to kind of realize the value of Harvest. Like I said, the Essence one is value front loaded, but Harvest is not. But I still just think it's worth it every time you get it. They are improving Harvest. Basically, if the old Alch Orb Harvests and the Transmute Harvests are now being all rolled into Chaos Orb Harvests, so we're going to get a ton more Chaos Orbs, which is great if you know what you're doing and can make currency using that. Last but not least, let's get into Uncharted Realms. Not much has changed here. I do want to mention that Close Allies got nerfed from 10% to 7%, but then the minor node kind of makes up for that. The order that I'll be taking it is Remnants of the Past first. The reason you want to take this first is because the Elder and Shaper Guardians are extremely valuable early. Everybody needs to do those Guardians in order to get more Uncharted Realms. Basically, having the Maven witness your Elder and Shaper kills will give you a chance to then do the fight where you fight all 4 of the Guardians together and then unlock even more Uncharted Realms passives. So whether you're using the maps yourself or you're selling them to other players, extremely valuable to take Remnants of the Past. After that, I think the strongest node is Atlas Awakened, which you have to go through Adept Tracker for. Adept Tracker will make your spawning of Cyrus even faster, but then once you get +1 Awakening level, again, that's static value that's on every single map that you run. So it's front-loaded value, really great. And then I go into Enduring Influence, Secrets of the Stone, or Close Allies. After that, kind of building up master missions. Once I get Watchstones that are worth increasing the effect of. I actually didn't mention it in Hayward, but Rituals is really strong. That's what I'll be running in conjunction with Harvest. You need to get a Meticulous Watchstone, which makes sure that there are always 4 ritual altars, but then if you get Secrets of the Stone, it affects it, makes it 25% better, so it's always 5 ritual altars there. The price of those filled vessels will be very expensive, so it's a great way to make money. Obviously, Enduring Influence, it seems innocuous, just 1 additional sextant use, but if you're fully sextanting all your maps, it's quite the money save. And then obviously Close Allies for the additional master missions. If you're going hard, especially on June, there's no way in Hayward Hamlet to generate June missions. So maybe what you'll do is you'll have a region that you use for kind of just lighting maps on fire, killing the boss really quickly to generate June missions. Have Watchstones that give you a higher % chance for June to generate. Make sure you take Close Allies. And then burn those June missions then in Hayward Hamlet, right? In order to level up your guys and get the safe house influence. Okay, I think that's all I really wanted to say in terms of the passives there. Not much changed in the Uncharted Realms. Some stuff did change in the only 4 regions. They condensed it, made things a lot more simple. It'll be a lot quicker to kind of get into your endgame Atlas. Horizon Orb usage this league is not that crazy. I do want to say every T16 map that you use a Horizon Orb on will turn into Summit map. So if you have a strategy where you're doing Valdo's Rest maybe very early for these value front-loaded nodes, Turn every T16 you get into a summit, run these summit maps. It's a nice layout, pretty big, a little hard on the eyes because it's like a really bright map, but it contains a lot of monsters, and you can turn every T16 into summit with your Horizon orbs. That there's some synergy there because you're doing Harbinger as well. There's a Harbinger on every map, so you'll be getting Horizon orbs and being able to like kind of fully sustain your summits in the very beginning. So that's how I like to use my Horizon orbs. That is it for this Atlas strategy video. Again, look out for that video that I'll be releasing in a week or two where, maybe Scourge League, I really want to run something in a different region. You guys can kind of follow my progress on Twitch. If you guys like the content, feel free to like and subscribe and all of that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for stopping by.